Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I found out that my ex-husband, Jerome, was killed in 1981.
16 years afterwards, you're arrested.
Yes.
She believes her brother's testimony sent her to prison.
Everything he said in that courtroom was a lie. He told the court that he watched me.
Now,
He's going to face his sister for the first time in 24 years.
You lied in the courtroom. I listened to you. I was sitting there.
I didn't lie. The police department, they lied in the statement.
Why did you put me in prison? Why did you do this to me?
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. In 1998, Patricia Wright was convicted of the gruesome crime of murdering her ex-husband, Jerome Scott, 16 years after the crime was committed. Why? Well, Patricia and other family members claim it was because her own brother, Ishmael, gave false information and testimony to the police, placing her at the murder scene. Now, Patricia was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole and spent the next 24 years behind bars. But then she says a miracle happened when California Governor Gavin Newsom granted her an emergency release from prison this past summer due to COVID-19. Now, 69-year-old Patricia is a free woman again.
First time since the pandemic began, Governor Newsom has released an inmate serving a life sentence.
69-year-old Patricia Wright is finally out of prison after spending nearly 24 years behind bars. Prosecutors argue that in 1981, she hired someone to kill her then ex-husband. Wright has maintained her innocence.
I wrote everyone I possibly could, telling everyone of my innocence. I never gave up.
She's been undergoing weekly chemotherapy treatments for terminal liver cancer, which made her a higher risk for contracting coronavirus.
This is a miracle. I thank God for everybody that stood by my mother.
Wright appears to be the first emergency release of an inmate serving a life sentence during the pandemic.
Now, Patricia says even though she's grateful for the second chance at life, she wants to face her brother Ishmael, who she has not seen or spoken to in over 24 years. She says she wants to look him in the eye and confront him as to why he gave the police false testimony that put her behind bars for a crime she insists she did not commit.
I found out that my ex-husband, Jerome, was killed in 1981. I think his lifestyle got him killed. It didn't surprise me. I don't remember if I was questioned at the time of his death, but I was arrested 16 years later for his murder. I was completely blindsided. My brother Ishmael testified against me at my trial, and I was charged and convicted for a conspiracy to murder and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Ishmael destroyed my life. His testimony was a smoking gun that put me away. I am completely innocent. I was taken away from my children and my entire life. Being behind bars, I was suffering from broken heart syndrome and loneliness. I didn't give up hope because of my 5 children. I had several cancer scares while I was in prison. Chemotherapy in prison is hard because going into the hospital, you have to be shackled up. Being released is like a dream come true. It's just overwhelming. I've been away so long. I only remember the time when my children were little. I've missed out on so much of their life that I can't get it back. I haven't spoken to Ishmael in 20-some years. I was shocked that he betrayed me and lied.
Well, Patricia, I am very, very glad to meet you. And I'm very glad to do it not behind bars, but here at Dr. Phil's. So tell me how you're doing.
All is well, Dr. Phil. So glad to finally see you.
Well, you've been out for how long now?
I was released July 21st of this year.
All right. So you say that you really want to know why your brother ruined your life, taking you away from Quincy and your 4 other children, your grandson, Shug, which is Suge Knight's son, for 24 years. This just came out of the blue, right?
Yes, Shug was my firstborn grandchild. He was only 1 year old when I was arrested.
Right. So everybody understands this was your ex-husband. He was stabbed and killed, and you're not even sure that you were questioned at the time. But, 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 15 years go by, then 16 years afterwards,
yes,
you're arrested.
Yes.
What did you think when they came and knocked on your door? And
I had no idea what they were talking about.
You had no idea that your brother was involved?
Not at all. Not my baby brother. Not my baby brother, who I raised after my parents had passed on.
And you had no problems with him, right?
Not ever.
Obviously, you want answers. Why in the hell would he say these things?
Everything he said in that courtroom was a lie. Everything he said about me was a lie.
Now, let me just ask you straight up for the record so you can get it on the record for here. Did you hire someone to kill your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
Were you still in contact with him? Were you talking to him?
Yes, I was.
Were you?
Yes.
Did you guys have tension at that time? Were you angry with him?
No.
And
No,
so
I did
Ishmael
not.
saying that you were at the scene of the crime.
Ishmael said that I even drove the mobile home that he owned. I could never drive any kind of vehicle. I have been legally blind since the age of 17.
You couldn't get a driver's license and you couldn't drive if you had one.
No, I could not.
We had to help you out here. We come down a runway. I had someone on each side of you, so you had the confidence that you weren't going to fall off.
I can't right now, I can't even see your face.
Well, that's a blessing. Trust me, you're not missing anything on that front. But you couldn't have driven a mobile home somewhere that he says you drove.
No, I could not.
But he knew that you were legally blind,
Yes,
correct?
he did. It's sad that the justice system would convict someone with just hearsay. No DNA, no eyewitness, was just...
There's no forensic evidence.
And I was sentenced to a life without the possibility of parole. After being in prison, I was told that he was the smoking gun witness.
You say that you've just been stuck with hatred and resentment because you just, I can imagine what you've been saying to yourself about this young man that you raised, that you loved, that you nurtured, and then to have him turn on you. What would be his possible motive?
Dr. Phil, I pondered this in my heart. Why would he say these things about me in the courtroom? I sat there and listened to him. He told this as if he was a director or producer. He made these things up. He told the court, the judge, the district attorney, that he watched me. I can't imagine why he would do this. I just want answers. I have so much dislike, hatred for him. I can't imagine why he would say these things. He tore my family. He pulled my heart out of my body.
And now you don't have, because of your health, you fear that you don't have much longer in this life.
I don't. That's the reason why I've been released from prison.
Right. And that's because you have cancer.
Yes.
And tell me about the cancer. You have liver cancer?
Yes, I battled and breast cancer and ovarian cancer.
Okay, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and liver cancer.
Yes, the liver cancer metastasized from ovarian cancer.
So it's begun to spread in your body.
Yes.
And so they say at this point they can't fix that.
No, they can't. I have a tumor, the stem of my brain, and it's metastasized from breast cancer. It's just been spreading throughout my body.
Okay. And so at this point, you're down to where you feel like you have months.
Yes.
At the most.
At the most.
And so you want...
Before I pass, I just want answers from him. I want to know, why did he do what he did to me and my 5 heartbeats, which is my children.
So you want some
I fought
peace.
like hell in prison to get out. I just didn't want to die. I made this motto up that said, I'm gonna fight for my freedom or die trying. I fought every day for 24 years to get out of there. And it was hard. Every day was hard. Every day in prison, it was hard. I just didn't want to die in prison. I didn't want to die away from my children. I didn't want to die in there. It was hell, Dr. Phil. It was hell in prison. The justice system, they messed me all up. Took 24 years out of my life for nothing, for a crime I didn't commit.
And so today, for the first time in 24 years...
I just want to ask Ishmael, why did he do this to me? I was so good to him.
Patricia's son, with her deceased ex-husband Jerome, is here. We're going to hear how he feels about his uncle speaking to the police when we come back.
My mom going to prison was devastating to me. Meeting a girlfriend or friends, it's hard to explain that your mother's doing life in prison for your father's murder. I only went to visit my mom 3 or 4 times while she was incarcerated. My mom wrote to me regularly, and I found it just emotionally draining and impossible to even read the letters.
And later...
Why did you lie on me? Why did you put me in prison? Why did you do this to me? I formed a few relationships in prison. My 2 good friends are Leslie Van Houten and Betty Broderick. Leslie is my BFF, and she's one of the Manson girls. Betty's in for the murder of her ex-husband and his wife. Prison life was so hard on me. I got beat up a lot. The younger inmates have no respect for the elderly. I wrote so many different advocates to listen to my story. I said that I want to fight for my freedom or die trying.
Well, I'm here with Patricia, who was the first person serving a life sentence who Governor Newsom released from prison due to COVID-19. Now, at 69 years old, Patricia says she missed out on so much of her life during the last 24 years. Here's what one of her sons, Quincy, has to say.
My father was murdered when I was 3 years old. My mother went to prison for his death when I was 19. I always had a good relationship with my mom and loved her very much. It was very hard watching my mom serve this life sentence. When I was 17, I enlisted into the United States Navy. One of my last memories of actually spending time with my mom before she was sentenced to prison was her coming to my graduation. Her going to prison was devastating to me. It started me on a downward spiral in the military of drinking. I still finished my service honorably. So I only went to visit my mom 3 or 4 times while she was incarcerated. Over the years, my mom wrote to me regularly, and I found it just emotionally draining and impossible to even read the letters. Meeting a girlfriend or friends, it's hard to explain that your mother's doing life in prison for your father's murder. My mom being convicted for my father's murder, considering I was his only child, made me feel more distant from my siblings. I believe that if I wasn't born or my mom had never met my father, that my sisters and brothers would have had a normal life. I'm trying to change that, trying to reconnect. Now that my mom's out of prison, I'm committed to making sure that I get to know her now in my older years. For the rest of her life, I'll be by her side.
Well, Quincy, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here and being here for your mother.
Yes.
Now, this had to be, as you were saying in your tape piece, this had to be so difficult for you, as you say, growing up and your mother being in prison and people saying, you know, where's your mother and all that. That had to be difficult. What was your relationship like with her while she was there in your heart? What did you feel towards her? Did you believe that she was guilty? Did you believe she was innocent? What did you believe?
No, I've always believed in my mother's innocence. I never, my heart felt that she ever had anything to do with my father's death at all. Because, you know, my mom was, growing up, I know my mom was always scary. She's scared of ghosts. You know, she was scared of, went to cemeteries or anything to go visit her mom's grave or anything. So I just couldn't imagine someone who's afraid of that killing someone.
Yeah. So it just didn't make sense to you.
No, it never made sense to me. And, you know, she never had problems with any of, because I have my father's side of the family. I have, you know, then my mom, you know, and then there was never any problems about, you know, me growing up with my grandmother. She always had a good relationship with, that's my dad's mom. Right. She always took me over there for Thanksgiving, and we, you know, there was never any issues about, like, you know, her son and, you know, being killed by her or anything like that. It was no problem.
Yeah. But what do you know about your uncle's testimony? He signed a statement, and then he actually testified live in trial. And what do you know about all of that? And what's your belief about his motives and why he would do something like that?
From what I've learned and read, and I had to do a lot of research myself on the internet, and then things I just found out when I was in the trial myself. He had got convicted of a domestic violence with his. I don't know if they were married or not, but his ex-wife, the one he has all of his kids by, and he was facing a 12-year sentence, you know, for domestic violence. And I remember him calling, and, you know, he was saying how he was having a real hard time in jail, and the guards were really racist and stuff to him, and, you know, he had to get out of there. And I learned that in exchange for a lighter sentence, he said that he had information on a murder. And as soon as my mom was convicted, he was released.
Really?
Yes.
So you believe he sold her down the river to get himself out of prison?
I do.
Has he told you straight up, I lied, I didn't think it would go this far when I lied, but I lied? And later...
They brought you McDonald's and fed you McDonald's. You lied on me.
Are you serious? You think McDonald's would make me turn against you?
He had told you had talked to your uncle.
Yes.
And he said, I got to get out of here. I can't take this anymore.
Yes, I've talked to him a lot of times, and he's apologized to me for, you know, for what happened. He wished that he could change it, that he could take it back. You know, he didn't mean for this to happen. He didn't think it would go this far. You know, he's talked to me just personally, that I've talked to him on the phone.
But has he told you straight up, I lied, I didn't think it would go this far when I lied, but I lied?
Yes.
And did you relate that to your mother? Did you tell her that?
Yes, yeah, I've had those conversations with my mom on the phone over the years, but it didn't make much of a difference. She was already convicted then.
Were there rumors about the murder when you were growing up? About who might have actually committed the crime?
I just always heard that, you know, they found his body in a motorhome downtown LA, that it could have been, you know, almost anyone. You know, it's LA, it's downtown, Skid Row. It's not hard to get killed. It's Skid Row.
No, rough part of town.
Yes.
And that's where this happened. And that's not where you would expect to find your mother.
Oh, no, not.
You would expect her to, that's not her stomping ground.
No. My mom was always a very classy person. It's just, that's not her at all.
Your mother says that it's his lifestyle that did him in, that it was probably something that had to do with that. Maybe one of his lovers, maybe somebody just in his lifestyle. Obviously, it wasn't random, that it was probably somebody from the way that he was living, the lifestyle that he had gotten involved in.
Yeah, I hate to admit that, that was my father that had that lifestyle, but yeah, I can see how that could definitely happen.
What did you think?
Well, knowing the judicial system, I didn't have the funds, the money to hire an attorney. You just can't overturn a conviction. So I started writing to Innocent Project, and they said it could take years, and that's all I could do was just wait. And that was in 2007. They got back to me in 2009. 2010, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2012, they said that it can take some time. 2015, they said that the court lost all the evidence that they had. 2015, they said they couldn't take my case. 2017, they said I have to get someone else. And it goes on like that.
It just keeps rolling, and then
just going in like
years start stacking up, right?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know,
they gave me another 6 months to live. I just kept fighting. I just said I wouldn't give up, and it just goes on and on and on. And I start getting sick again, and I stopped for a while. I started back up. And it just keeps going on.
Well, Patricia has not seen or spoken to her brother.
No.
Who she blames for her 24-year prison incarceration. That is until today, because when we come back, he's going to face his sister for the first time in 24 years.
When the police questioned me, I didn't write a statement. It was recorded. The impression that I got from the detective was it wasn't implicating my sister because I felt she did nothing wrong. I had no choice but to go to trial because I was subpoenaed. The police said I contacted them about a murder, but I never did that. The statement they wrote on me was a lie.
During my trial, my public defender told me there was a smoking gun witness. I didn't know that my brother Ishmael was the smoking gun witness they were referring to until he got on the stand. I was shocked.
Ishmael lied to say my mom had something to do with my father's death in exchange for a lighter sentence on a case that he was facing.
I think I'm a shake if I see him or even hear his voice. I don't want to leave this world without knowing why he did what he did to me.
Well, we're here with 69-year-old Patricia, who was just reunited with her son Quincy just recently after spending 24 years behind bars for allegedly murdering her ex-husband, who was also Quincy's father. Now, both say they believe that Patricia's brother, Ishmael, gave the smoking gun testimony that sent her to prison for a crime Patricia says that she did not commit.
I would like to mend my relationship with my sister Patricia. She blames me for her going to prison. I moved in with my sister at a very young age. I don't remember how I found out that Jerome was killed. I didn't know the details of his murder. The murder happened in 1981, but there was no trial till 1997. That's when the police questioned me. At the time, my spelling and my reading wasn't that great. I didn't write a statement. It was recorded. The impression that I got from the detective was it wasn't implicating my sister because I felt she did nothing wrong. I had no choice but to go to trial because I was subpoenaed. The statement they wrote on me was a lie. I didn't say those things. The police said I contacted them about a murder, but I never did that. At that time, I believed her trial wasn't going to turn out well. If I had to do everything all over again, I wouldn't have said anything. I was happy when she got released. I want her to know the truth. I want her to know the things that was said was fabricated by the detectives. I love her and I had no choice. I'm her brother and I wouldn't have done anything to hurt her.
Well, now joining us virtually from his home is Patricia's brother, Ishmael. Patricia, what do you want to say to him?
Why did you lie on me? Why did you put me in prison? Why did you do this to me?
I didn't lie. I didn't put you in prison. The statement that was written that by the police department wasn't my statement. They lied in the statement. This is what I've been trying to tell you, and this is what I wanted to tell you.
You lied on me. You lied on me. I heard you in the courtroom. You lied on me.
I denied everything. What you heard in the courtroom was me denying everything.
No, you lied on me.
They said.
You lied on me. You said you was on the second story of my house in Encino. You lied on me.
There's no second story in Encino.
I know it's not a second story. You said that you lied on me. You said I came out the mobile home and told you to be quiet. You lied on me.
That's not what I said. I did not say that.
You lied on me. You lied on me. You took me away from my children.
Listen,
I
Pat,
spent 24 years in prison for nothing. Ishmael,
I did not lie on you on the
me.
witness stand.
Let me stop you. When you yell, it distorts so bad that we have a hard time understanding you.
I'm sorry. When the police changed my statement and implicated you in my statement that I didn't write, I thought this would be an opportunity to expose them lying. That's why, if you remember, when I went to court on the witness stand, I distinctly pointed out to the detective in front of the judge and said, he lied. I did not say that in that statement, Your Honor.
You lied on me. They said they brought you McDonald's and fed you McDonald's. You lied on me.
Are you serious? You think McDonald's would make me turn against you? You were my sister. You're my sister. I love you. I have never said any of those things. I didn't write a statement. I signed a statement that was read to me, but I didn't write it. The statement that was read in court, I did not write that.
You said it on cassette tape. I got your video. I got your cassette tape to Attorney Ellison. You even said it in your own voice.
She heard.
I heard your voice.
What she's saying is she heard your words, and I'm real interested in what you have to say about this, because you had a conversation with Ishmael about this, and what did he say to you?
Told me that he was sorry that he for the statements that he said that he wished that he could take it back. That it was his testimony that caused my mom to go to prison.
Did he tell you that he lied?
Yes, sir.
He told you that he lied?
He told me that he lied.
And did he tell you that he cut a deal?
Yes.
You lied. You lied. You lied in the courtroom. I listened to you. I was sitting there.
I denied everything.
No, you lied. After you sit up and lied the first time.
Did you tell Quincy that you lied?
And you got a lesser sentence for the crime
Quincy,
you committed.
That is not true.
Just fess up.
Listen.
Just apologize. Why don't you be a man and do that?
I have nothing to apologize for.
I did 24 years.
I have always explained to you that the statement that went to trial was not my statement.
Did you get a lesser sentence in exchange for your testimony?
No.
Why'd you make a statement?
I was trying to help.
You were brought here as a prosecution witness, and when you came here, you say, I have nothing to apologize for, but you admit that you signed a statement that was used against your sister to convict her, and you say they used you as a pawn, they twisted your words, that isn't what you said, but do you not even apologize for the fact that you were used and allowed
Absolutely,
yourself
100%.
to be manipulated?
This is my family. Yes, absolutely. And I have always done that.
Did you get a lesser sentence in exchange for your testimony?
No, none of that, no.
You were not facing 12 years and you got a lesser sentence?
Nope, not at all. Nope.
So that just didn't happen?
They didn't make
Never
a deal.
happened.
They didn't make a deal with you, the DA?
Nope, not at all.
So why did the detectives come for you?
To subpoena me to your trial.
But why? How did they know to come talk to you?
I don't know. They contacted me, so I don't know.
It was 16 years after the crime. Why would they come talk to you out of the blue? Why you? Why
they didn't come out of the blue.
I
believe I'm guessing one of my family members, they talked to somebody else, and it led to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And did you say that she drove the mobile home?
Absolutely not.
Did you say that in court?
No.
You didn't say that you witnessed a murder?
No, because I didn't witness a murder. I never said that. And you don't have any records of me saying that because I never said it.
So what did they lie on you and say that you recanted at my trial then, that I didn't hear?
One of the things I distinctly remember in the statement was they said something like, I heard a mobile home, you walking out to a mobile home and it was rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
I never said that. And I said it right on trial. If you remember, in trial, I pointed right at the detective and I looked at the judge and I said, he's lying. I said, I never said that. And then they referred back to the statement and said, did you sign this statement? Yes, I did sign that statement, but that is not what I said. They wrote the statement and I signed it. They read it back to me and it didn't implicate you in anything. But when we got to trial and they blew the statement up, which means that it was in large size, what was in that statement is not what they read back to me. And I never said any of those things. I had no reason to lie on you. You're my sister. I have 6 sisters, 2 brothers. I'm the youngest. I love my family. I love you. I love my children, your kids, my nieces and nephew. You have never done anything wrong to me. So why would I just out the blue with a person I don't even know to lie on my sister and get her convicted? This is why I came on the Dr. Phil show today. I'll take the hits because I've been taking them for 25 years. Now's the time for my story to be heard. I have never lied. I have never said those things. Yes, that's a statement that I signed saying I said it because it was read to me. But I didn't say that.
Why'd you make any statement? Why'd you make a statement?
Because I wanted them to let you go. She's not, she loved her husband. Do I think she's a murderer? No. This is my sister. She cared. No, I was trying to help.
If you didn't sign something incriminating, what was it you intended to straighten out when you got to the courtroom? You say you didn't know what the statement said that you signed because you didn't have good reading skills at the time, and what they read back to you was not what you signed, that they wrote down one thing and read to you another, correct?
Right. I wasn't incriminating my sister in anything. And then I said, read the statement back to me, and they read it back, and it was nothing incriminating my sister. But then when I got to trial, what I signed, and then when the prosecutor, in trial, the trial went like this. Did you say this? No, I didn't. He's a liar. Judge, he's lying on me. Well, is that your signature? Yes, that's my signature. Did you sign saying you said it? Yes, I did. But I didn't say that because that's not what he told me. He read back to me. What I told him to write down, he didn't. He wrote down something else. And that's what all day in the trial was about with me. It wasn't me. I gave no statement in trial. I was denying stuff left and right. And I figured this will be great helpful to her because it proves that the police are lying, trying to incriminate her into this murder that I know my sister didn't do.
So if you didn't sign something incriminating, what was it you intended to straighten out when you got to the courtroom?
Well, the police were, I saw the police aim. I saw what they were doing. They wanted to incriminate my sister. And they wanted me to lie to incriminate my sister. And that's what I wanted to bring forth in trial. But when I got to trial, it was much bigger.
If you knew that you did not sign something incriminating, then what did you feel like you had to straighten out at trial?
What I wanted the judge to know that the police were, by any means possible, trying to trap up my sister.
But if you didn't sign an incriminating statement, then what did you need to straighten out at trial?
The fact that the police wanted me to lie.
But that you had a signed statement that in your mind was not hurting your sister.
No, right. At the time, before trial, at the time of that statement, when the statement was read back to me, it was read back the words that I said. What was non-incrimination to my sister.
So what was the need to, so what did you have to straighten out at trial? Because you already had gone on record not incriminating your sister.
The fact that they wanted me to lie, or off tape. They told me that. In fact, that they wanted me to lie. So I was going to expose them in trial. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay, are you saying that Quincy is lying? You familiar with Patricia's first grandson, Suge Knight Jr.?
I have never met him.
He's here.
I don't think I ever saw him.
You're lying. You're trying to make yourself look good. All she wants is peace. Just give her that.
I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, go to drphil.com. Look, we're always talking about these things on social media. I look at your comments, I look at your questions, and I respond to those sometimes. So if you've got something you want to say, and I know you will about this story because it involves, is it guilt or innocence? Did he set her up? What did he not? You're going to have a lot of opinions about this. So I'm going to plug in and engage. So I'll be checking out Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you may go, talking about this show. And be sure and check out Robin's podcast. I've Got a Secret, where she shares great tips, tricks, secrets with her audience. You don't want to miss it. They have some great conversations. We'll see you next time. You stay safe.
If you
bounce, bounce, all the girlies bounce. Take them to my house, turn the party out. Bounce, 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 all the girlies bounce. Take them to my house, turn the party out.
You won me 1,000 times. Memories can kill ya, but it didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it.
Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Every day and night, that's right. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Every day and night.